welcome to the Islanders. We are here in Daly City covering the discussion and the meeting of U.S. Pinoys for Good Governance. We have in our midst the guest speaker, the National Chair of U.S. Pinoys for Good Governance, a philanthropist, and an icon known locally, nationally. We are going to discuss let's talk good governance. Incidentally, election is coming up, both in the Philippines and in the United States. So today we have so much to have on the table that we will share with our community who will be coming and listen and join the discussion. So we hope you enjoy this little presentation. And we thank the Bayanihan, Filipino Bayanihan Resource Center who hosted the venue for this meeting. As I was discussing earlier this morning, I gave you the intro on the icon and our guest speaker for this afternoon discussion. Let's talk good governance, and of course, the icon, the philanthropists, and nationally, locally, and globally known, our Madam Loida Lewis. Please, let's welcome her and listen to what she has to say preliminary to our discussion. Loida, your turn.
Thank you, Charito. Magandang araw sa inyong lahat. I am here in Daly City because it is so important to tell Filipinos in the global community, tayong mga nasa diaspora, that our influence is so strong so that even if we are not registered to vote, we still can influence the course of this election in Manila come May 2016. It is so important because we already started the Ang Matuwid, meaning good governance in the Philippines. 6 years is not enough. Kulang. Our president should have another term, but the Constitution forbids it. So the second term of President Noynoy should be Mar Rojas, that he is the chosen one by Noynoy, by Pinoy. And 6 years, another 6 years with Mar Rojas is not enough. 12 years is not enough. We need another 6 years, and that is Leni Robredo. So if we have 18 years of good governance, the Philippines will become a head nation and no longer kulelat. Hindi na tayo, bottom third. We will be in the family of nations among the First Nation.
Before we start, I want to just thank Linda Galion. She is the Resource Center, and Linda is the chair of the board, right? And okay, with the key to this place. So we want to thank her for being the host of this event, and we'll have a short program. I'd like to now introduce Charito Benipayo of U.S. Pinoys for Good Governance to do the welcome address.
Thank you, Deb. Thank you, everyone. Actually, I've been introduced earlier. It's just a simple welcome for all of you who are coming and taking the time in spite of the bad weather we have. You took the time to come over and be able to listen to all the discussion we're going to have right on the table. You know, it's election time, locally in the Philippines and even here in the United States. So we must be able to know what's in store for us in the future, for everybody, citizens, non-citizen, immigrants, or anyone. So please, let's listen attentively to our guest speaker this afternoon, Madam Loida Luis. Everybody knows Loida. So, without much further ado, shall we start? And I give it back to Rodel to do further more discussion. Thank you.
Well, thank you. I'd like to introduce someone many of you may have not met. He is the head of the Leni Robredo for Vice President movement here in the Bay Area, Mr. Gabby Moraleda.
The Team Leni today started out as a small team. We feel that Leni really is a new breed of legislator. Now, when she becomes vice president, not if she becomes vice president, she can inspire the nation. I think that's what Leni brings to the table. She is not a politician, traditional politician, but she is a public servant, pure at heart. So with this, we'd like to thank you for letting me speak. And the numbers are good. In the surveys, number 2 na siya. But it's still, we still have serious work to do. I'd like to end by saying that this elections is really very important. Pinoy started something, President Noynoy Aquino started something. Transparency and good governance. That should go, this election the results of the election will tell us whether we move forward or parang sa Manila may mga U-turn slots, babalik ulit tayo kung saan tayo nanggaling. I hope we move forward. Thank you.
Spokesperson of the the U.S. Pinoys for Good Governance. He's the only Filipino-American certified immigration lawyer in this area. He's been a certified immigration lawyer for over 30 years. Someone who writes regularly for the Inquirer and other newspapers. And he will do the introduction of our guest speaker. So may I present Mr. Ted Aguata.
Thank you for coming here, all of you. Shows your involvement and concern about creating a better Philippines. It's an honor to have Loida here. I mean, Loida is outstanding. I was in the student council sa UP. Nandun din si Loida. And even at that time, we dreamt of a better Philippines, where someday we hope that wala kaming makikita mga bata na kumakain sa basura. We hope that the Filipinos will flower to the best of their potentials as human beings and have a better Philippines, if not a better world. So, the concern goes on. Yung mga kasama namin sa student council na iba, did not have the same idealistic concerns and cares, but were concerned about their own personal ambitions. Madami dyan, a lot of them also progressed and now are among the leaders in the Philippines. Pero yung mga corrupt na kasama namin sa student council, corrupt pa rin ngayon. I get na form na yung values doon. Doon pa. So, kami nila Loida, iba pa, si Rodel extreme left na nun. Kaya mabuti na-expose kay Loida at sa akin. Medyo conservative. Nalaman niya, tama kami. Napaka-husay mag-organize, napaka-dedicated, napaka-committed. So, going back to Loida, she arrived in the US. Kamukha ko, late 60s, wala ka pera-pera. Kamukha ko, wala ka pera-pera. But somehow we made it here. Madami sa Pilipinas sinasabi, oh, yung mga umalis, nagpunta Pilipinas, iniwan kami. Kami talaga yung heroes. Well, not true. Because we are concerned about the Philippines, about creating a better world. Now we have these elections, and it's very critical. Because the leaders we choose will definitely affect the future and well-being of our people. It's going to be very close elections. Kaya, it's important, once you decided kung sino ang pipiliin nyo, to make sure yung mga kamag-anak nyo sa Pilipinas, sabihin nyo bumoto sa tao na yun. Kasi madami yan. It's going to be very, very close. Mga kandidato, how do you choose a candidate? Para sa akin, dalawa lang eh. Number one, he must sincerely love the people. And number two, he must be capable of really competent and really serving the people. And just on the basis of that, mapipili mo na eh. Hindi yung taong kurap. Talagang proven kurap. Hindi niya mahal yung tao, di ba? Parang napipiliin nyo. Maaaring competent, pero kung kurap, hindi niya mahal yung tao. Kaya, among the five, kapipili. Si Grace po, hindi naman kurap. Kilala ko yung mga tiya dito na kapatid ni Juan Fernando po, si Banji, siya yung kapatid niya, kaya asawa niya, kaklase yung asawa ko. Pero si Grace, ang problema yung competence. Kasi walang experience. Ang pinaka-experience niya, Montessori teacher, yung kindergarten. I'm not against her, pero what we need is a leader who's competent, who can really do the work. Si Duterte admitted mass murderer. Kumapatay daw siya, nagmamalaki niya. Minura pa niya si Pope, di ba? Eh, hindi naman yung mahal yung mga tao, kumapatay yung mga tao. Now, si Miriam, kaibigan din namin ni Lloyd na yan, sa UP, Student Council. Pero si Miriam, medyo may topak na yun.
You said the magic word.
Yes.
We wish her what we're looking for is a person who will really be good for the country.
She's funny.
That's why we're involved. That's why you are involved. Importante yung gagawin natin. The future of the Philippines really relates to this. You know? So, having said all that, I'd like to introduce with great pride and welcome Lloyda to our area here in San Francisco. Pumunta siya rito para kausapin kayo, para sabihin sa inyo ang pinakamagaling na kandidato, si Marlo at saka si Lenny. Sa Vice President, napaka-importante. Kasi, Bongbong Marcos tumatakbo. Eh, siyempre, kung manalo yan, napakadaming pera, baka maging presidente. Dahil baka mamatay yung presidente, presidente. Kaya dapat isipin natin ka. We're trying to get the right people elected. O sige, salamat sa inyo lahat. Salamat sa inyo.
Thank you. Maraming salamat that you are here on a Saturday afternoon. Okay, so palakpakan naman din ang sarili nyo. I also want to thank my host who accepted me in their home last night, coming from the Hillary campaign in San Gabriel Valley, and that is Attorney Rodel and Edna. Yes, I'm going to have a PowerPoint presentation. So, palakpakan naman ninyo ang aming techie, Rod. Why do I go to first Chicago, and then Los Angeles, and then Paris, and Vienna, and now I'm here? Okay? Because I left the Philippines, as Attorney Ted Laguatan said, in the late 60s. And I stayed, it's now 20, so all these years when I visit the Philippines, medyo iba. Because when we left in the 60s, We were number 2. We were number 2. Japan, Philippines, 95% literacy rate. Okay? And so when I come, nakakagulat to see all those children. Street people, talaga nakita ko, doon natutulong sa kalsada. So when I come and I am visiting our Todos Los Santos, okay? Yung aming pansyon, where may lolo, lola, uncles, aunts, papa, mama, ang banghi! Why? Because in La Loma, 2,000 families live. Okay? Sinisira ang kwan. You know, so it's just like, I just go. So, now that we have this chance, so now, in the Philippines, in 2016, okay, I say, it is our time to rise. We have risen. April 9, umpisa na tayo. We can already start voting. So if you do not receive, by mail, no? If you do not receive anything in the mail, call the consulate and tell them, I moved in the past 3 years, please send me my ballot. When we left, we were only 40 million. Within my lifetime, within our lifetime, we more than doubled. We are 102 million Filipinos. Of course, it is also something that 10% of us, 10 million, are outside the Philippines. We are in the diaspora. But of that 102 million, 54 million are under 35 years of age. They have no idea what was martial law. Okay? So that's why we sort of have a responsibility because we knew what martial law was. And that is really the start of something, the darkness coming to the Philippines. 1965, President Marcos was elected. And, okay, so there was a lot of hope. So he was re-elected for the first time in our history that we re-elected a sitting president. It never happened before, of course. The first president is Manuel Rojas. He died. Okay? The second president was Ramon, Elpidio Quirino. Okay? He was defeated by Ramon Magsaysay. He died. That was, the next was Carlos P. Romulo.
Carlos P. Garcia.
Garcia. So he won that election. Again, he lost because it was now Marcos. Macapagal first, yes, sorry. Macapagal first, the honest president, the honest man from Lubao. Okay, a good friend of my father, they were classmates in UP. But also, no second term. Marcos won in 65. 69, he won the second time, re-elected for the first time in history. And it would have ended in 73. Because the Constitution says only 2 terms, 8 years, tapos na. What happened in 1972? Alam natin lahat, martial law. So, martial law lasted up to 1986. So during the time, I call it our years of darkness. Why? Because martial law, not only disappearance of all the activists, human rights laws, moral, immoral ascendancy. Ibig sabihin, para tayong nawala ng sense of what's right and what's wrong. It is all right to kill. It is all right to steal. It is all right to get them gold from central bank. Alam ko ito kasi I have an aunt, Tita Shirley. Sabi niya, nadidinig lang, helicopter. She was an employee of central bank. Anong nangyayari? Eto na naman. All the gold in central bank, ini-squat ng helicopter for deposit all over the world. Okay? That's why in 86, when President Cory Aquino became president, 0, wala tayong gold. Okay? So, from 65 to 86, we had, para bang the roots of corruption went deep into our soul. Okay? Ang lalim. So that even after 86, Cory Aquino became restored democracy, walang nangyaring masyado. I will always be saludo to her because she alone could have taken out Marcos. Nobody else. Kung hindi, martial law pa tayo ngayon. But there were 7 coup d'etat. One was so serious that Noynoy, in a date with his date, okay, eto lang martial law, pinaputukan sila. He still has a bala sa kanyang shoulder, and the date from Assumption died. That was how serious it was. Okay? So, walang nangyari we had this restored democracy, but the culture of corruption, paligid din ng ahas ng Presidente Cory. You know, kawawa naman. No re-election, Ramos. Ramos, paakyat na naman tayo. We were going up. But 6 years is not enough. Kulang ang 6 years. So, Ramos said, Chacha, charter change. Let us change the constitution. 6 years is not enough. Let us have a re-election of another 6 years. Zero. Masyadong, you know, we had just Marcos for 21 years, hindi pwede. No. So nothing happened, and we elected ERA. Nanay ko, we, you know, walang opisina sa umaga because tulong nagpusoy, inuman ng Petrus, which cost $300 per bottle. So, walang nangyayari. Ang kanyang pag-opisina, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So, business people, the church, civil society, including the army, okay, turned their back against him and nagkaroon tayo ng EDSA 2, People Revolution. At tanggal siya, and GMA came in. I had just such hope, high hopes for GMA because first of all, Assumptionista, okay, daughter of makapagal, very honest. So sabi ko, sige, my sister and I and everybody else campaigned for her in 2004 against Fernando Po. People were saying, ang talagang presidente niyan si Fernando Po, but no, it's not true. As we were, Fernando Po was up here, in polls, but by the time the election came, pababa, nakita ng mga tao, medyo wala yatang between the ears. Babait na tao, very decent, but he doesn't really know how to govern or to be an executive. So paakyat. Okay? By the time the election came, GMA really won by 300. But sabi niya, ayoko ng 300. Kailangan 1 million so that everybody will see that I have the people's mandate. Hello, Garci? Okay? Alam niyo yun? Hello, Garci? Okay. Umakyat ng 1 million yung kanyang boto. Alright? So that's GMA. So she had 9 years. But also, again, during that time, we were so corrupt. You know, I was already in international, you know, international meets or meeting mga international financiers. Okay? And I hear investment in China. So, Yosef, in the billions. Investment in Vietnam, kasama natin. In 75, Vietnam became a free country again, nag-unite. Okay, investment dun, mga 12, 13, 14 billion. How about the Philippines? Ang sagot sa akin, wrong address. Wrong address daw tayo, nakakahiya. Wrong address, why? Because we were known to be one of the top 10 most corrupt nation in the world. Okay? Up to that time with GMA, okay, and in April 206, New York Times, I know I live in New York, the most corrupt nation in the world, Philippines. Ay naku, nakakahiya. Diyos ko po. Alright, so now, with 2010, before 2010, Cory Aquino died on August 1, 2009, and suddenly there was parang swelling of voices. We want another Aquino. No wife, no children. Nakatira sa nanay. Okay? Very, very simple. Yung sapatos niya, bali nga. But 10 years old when he became president. He is driving a BMW. 10 years na rin yung BMW niya. Bibili siya ng, he was allowed to, you know, well, he said, I want to, bago naman na BMW. Second hand. Okay, so, wala talagang bisyo. And so, wala sa kanyang corruption. And, but, because the culture of corruption is so deep, he knew he has to do first is uproot the corruption. Chief Justice of Supreme Court, tanggal, impeach. I mean, I myself, you know, I was so proud. We are the only country who impeach a corrupt Chief Justice. Okay? But God intervened. Anong nangyari? This Ben-Hur Chu is the nephew of Janet Napoles. What is Janet Napoles doing? She, well, una muna, Janet Napoles knew that he wanted to establish his own kagaguhan. Whatever Janet Napoles is doing, he was going to do it. So, She kept him at home, hindi pinalabas. Parang kidnapping. Pagkatapos ng 3 months, sige, labas na, eto na. He went to Congress and told everything kung anong nangyari. Anong nangyari? Janet Napoles had this kind of, anong tawag dito, parang system, okay? A system of corruption. PDAF or pork barrel, you know all what pork barrel is, okay? 220 million for every senator, 40 million for every congressman every year.
70.
Huh? 70 na ba ngayon? Thank you.
Before, 70.
70 million for congressman. Ako, napakalaki yata. But anyway.
Is that in dollars?
No, pesos. But that's a lot of money. 220 million for whatever project you want. So Janet Napoles had this technique. All right, you give me your PDAF. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Mga not-for-profit, for farmers, for teachers, for sa mga papobre, for agriculture, but they are empty corporations. Walang nangyayari, wala yung mga ano. So, you will give him 220 million, give her 220 million, she keeps 30, balik ang 70. 100% corruption. Walang nangyari. Okay? So, when he came out with that, ayan, na because Noynoy doesn't want this kind of thing, Sandigan Bayan finally became strong and issued 3 warrant of arrest to the most powerful senators in the Philippines. And really, what? Nasa preso? Estrada, Jinggoy, preso. Revilla, preso. Never again has that happened. So medyo straighten up lahat. At wala ng PDAF. And also, the people that Noynoy elected, chose as candidate, as secretary of departments, are very honest. Unang-una, Cesar Purisima, Secretary of Finance. For the past 5 years, he is judged by finance magazines, Bloomberg, the best finance minister in the world. 5 years. Okay? Si Tatenko, Amado Tatenko of Central Bank, appointed by GMA, but reappointed by Noynoy after 6 years. The best central bank governor in the world. Oh, makikita nyo? Wow, ang galing-galing yan. And then, Singson, Babe Singson. These are public works, wala nang mga 30%, 40%. It goes to public works. And education, Brother Luis Tro. Okay? Brother Lasal, wala nang mga corruption. The other one is the National Food, NFA, all right? Before with GMA, bawat kilo, 1 peso kay first gentleman. Okay? Nawala na yun. In other words, medyo sa mga taas, kulang, not kulang, naalis yung corruption. Meron mo rin. I will not mention his name. But, you cannot get an appointment unless magbigay ka ng pera dito sa executive secretary nito. Pero okay lang yun. Sa akin, it should not be. But why? Because it is, mahirap maalis lahat ng corruption. But thank God, the rest of the secretaries of education, si Albert Del Rosario, nasipag lang. He was appointed, nagkaroon ng problems sa Middle East, so he went there. In 1 month, he visited siguro 1 month, 30 days, 27 countries, Sus Mariosep. Anyway, ang ibig sabihin, Noynoy finally was able to starting to uproot the culture of corruption. Next. Under the kung walang corrupt, walang mahirap, that's how he won. And it is proven. Talaga kung walang corrupt, the money will come to the people. Next, please. Okay? Why? So, bakit ngayon? Why am I doing this? Because Noynoy is a good president. He should have a second term. Daang Matuwid should be continued by his second term. Sasabihin niyo, but the Constitution prohibits that. You're right. And so, he knows that his legacy should continue. And he chose Maroas. Okay? So, what happened when ito ang mga result ng mga daang matuwid. Once we started to be straight, okay? At the beginning, we were 134, bottom third, very corrupt ang Pilipinas. By now, we move up to 85th. 85th in the world, nasa kalagitnaan na tayo. Okay? Sasabihin nyo, bakit hindi pa? Kulang pa. But that is Transparency International that judges 175 countries in the world. Pero akit na tayo. 134 na tayo. Okay? Wow, 85 na tayo. Nasa kaligitnaan na tayo. Okay? Next, international body. Next. Okay? World Bank. The ease of doing business in the Philippines, nag-umpisa, 144, bottom third na tayo. Now, this year, we are 95. Nasa kaligitnaan na naman tayo. You know? Now, it's a little easier to do business here, pero kulang pa rin. But at least, naalis na tayo sa bottom third. Next. Okay? And this is World Economic Forum. Okay? How competitive are we? Nag-umpisa tayo, 85, bottom third. Ngayon, 52. 33 places ang nakat natin within 5 years. Okay? That's the largest. And the most important is this. Standard & Poor's said, the Philippines is now investment grade. Triple B. Anong ibig sabihin ng triple B? Maaasahan that if we borrow, we will be paid. Okay? Dati, nasa single B, double B, but now we move to triple B. And it's not only Standard & Poor's, it is also Moody's. That's also international body. Fitch, also international body. Lahat investment grade. For the first time in our history, we are investment grade. What does that mean? Pag umutang tayo, before, ang taas-taas ng interest rate. Kasi, baka tayo hindi makabayan. So, in order to encourage people to lend us money, 9%, 10%, sometimes even double digit. Okay. Now, our borrowings is 3%, 4%. Ang laking savings. Ang laking savings niyan. And that's why, now, Bloomberg says, we are now in the top 20 economies in the world, and if we continue our growth of 6%, 7%, we will be second to China. We have structural reforms. Okay? For the first time, we can do it on two very important aspects of the Philippines. Okay? First, investment in our people. Ang sabi ko nga sa inyo, bigla tayong 100 million. Eh, ang growth natin, ang liat na. That's why we are all out of the Philippines. Because we cannot find work that fits our education. Okay, so labas tayo lahat. Nag-umpisa, 2009, kulang ng classroom, 66,000 ang kulang. And I don't know whether you know it, but I heard, because I asked, sa public school, 70, 80 students in one class. Wow. We are here siguro mga 40. Can you imagine 80? So how can you study? 180,000 classrooms, salamat sa Diyos, have been made so that our children, public school, can be educated. Okay? It's naman. Susunod. Okay. Alright. Ito ang pinaka-importante. CCT. Okay? The poorest of the poor, alam mo, 30 million of our population of 100 million, call themselves poorest of the poor. Anong ibig sabihin nun? Na isang linggo, hindi sila kumakain ng isang araw. Can you imagine that? Kahit naman lugaw, wala. Okay? So that's the poorest of the poor. You go and visit their house, walang television, walang ano, maybe a radio, kung magaling. Okay? So, now, itong CCT, they are giving 1,500 pesos. Okay, what does conditional mean? Kailangan you must send your children to school. If they are absent 15%, they're only less than 85%, you don't get it. And if you have elementary school children, 300 pesos each. If you have high school children, 500 pesos each. Okay, so how many households have received that? I will have to give it to GMA. Under Dinky, Soliman, 786,000 got CCT, got 1,500, or whatever money is it. Now, 4,400,000 are receiving this money. Sasabihin nyo, ako kayod ng kayod, sila libre. No, you must remember, When you are very, very, very poor, to get out of it, you need counting, you need cash. Okay? And so, because of that, 400,000, 5 years na ito, no? 400,000 of their children have graduated from high school. Biro mo yung 400,000, kung hindi yan nakagraduate, patay gutom na naman. Poorest of the poor, dadagdag. Although that is not really the solution. Because after education of high school, where is the jobs? Where are the jobs? Okay? Isa pang problema. Next, please. PhilHealth. Alam ko, lahat kayo nakaka-receive. Merong sakit, na-aksidente, manganganak. Can you send a little something? And I know all of you have sent any of this, scholarship, lahat. But with PhilHealth, that started with, again, GMA, salamat, only 24 million ang nabigyan ng PhilHealth. Now, ang reimbursement is 75 billion ang nare-receive ng mga tao. Okay, so that is a big help for our people. Okay, next please. Now, infrastructure. Like in the United States, our bridges, our hospitals are all old. And so now, with Simpson, we are spending 570 billion pesos for construction, hindi na bumupunta sa bulsa. I must tell you, I visited Sorsogon in August. I always visit. But in August when I came back, wow! Nasunog yung aming high school 2 years ago. Bagong-bagong high school. Normally, nasunog, mag-antay ka ng 10 taon. There it is. Ganda. Ganda ng fence, bagong-bago. Okay? We would go to Sorsogon. Pag nagbagyo, forget it. Ang bridge, washed out. Ngayon, semento ang bridge. Okay? Hindi na mawawash out. Hospital. Our hospital was so decrepit. Bago ang hospital, 200 beds. And I'm going to end it. Dati, from Legazpi to Sorsogon, mga 1 hour, 30 minutes because single line, merong tricycle, hindi ka na makakalampas. You know how it is. All of you have visited your own barrio. Now, going to Sorsogon, 45 minutes na lang, maybe an hour, because the roads have been widened. Pwede ng dalawa. On dalawa na, hindi lang single file. All of this, makinis, malinis, maganda. Hindi yung ang semento ay ganun lang, malalim na. Okay? So, diretso ang utak. Yan ang tuwid na daan. And so, they are spending and they're spending more. Okay? Infrastructure, bridges, and in Legazpi and Daraga, there will be an international airport. And finally, tourism will come to our province, Bicol. I can only speak because I came from there. So that's the infrastructure. And some progression ng investment in infrastructure has never happened before. I mean, lahat tayo naman, galing sa Pilipinas, nakikita natin. Kailan natin nakukuha ng in 1-5 years, ganon ang kadaming infrastructure. And so the Philippines is now called the bright spot in Asia. In fact, ako, sinasabi sa akin, you're from the Philippines, but this has nothing to do with our country. This has something to do with us, tayong mga diaspora, narito. As an international businesswoman, I lived in Paris, I go to Rome. Filipino, you're Filipino. My mother was sick. There was a wonderful nurse that took care of her. You're Filipino. I hear this all the time. I have household help. She has been with me all my life, with my children and children's children. She's a member of my family. She's so good. Okay? Businesswoman. My treasure, my CFO is a Filipina, and all of her helpers are Filipina. They are so good. So, what am I saying? Pag wala tayo sa Pilipinas, the rest of utak. Okay, bakit yung mga Pilipinas hindi? Because na the culture of corruption. So, what I'm saying now, okay, the bedrock of daang matuwid, accountability, transparency, integrity. Kailangan yan bumalik uli. Yung culture of corruption, alisin, bumalik uli sa atin ang sense of ethics. What is right and what is wrong? Hindi pagnanakaw, hindi pagpatay ng tao, but really living to our sense of right and wrong. Okay? So, that's why, you are saying, bakit si Marojas? President Noynoy, wants what he has established for 6 years, 5 years, to continue. And so, nag-iniisip na niya, baka mawala ito. And so, he has chosen Mar Rojas. Okay? We will be the center of growth and development and modernity in Asia. Yan ang sabi ni Mar. Yan din ang sinasabi ko. Yan din ang sinasabi ni Noynoy. Why Mar Rojas? Why did Pinoy choose Mar? Okay? So, let's go and see. Sino itong si Mar Rojas? You know, Mar Rojas' grandfather is the first president of the Philippines, Manuel Rojas. His father is Jerry Rojas, also more or less becoming, you know, aiming for the presidency. Kalaban niya si Ninoy, but he died also before he could be finish his term. And Mar Rojas, okay, let's say, Mar Rojas was not scheduled to be a politician. It was his older brother. But in 1993, his older brother, who was congressman of Rojas City, died. And nasan si Mar? Mar studied in Wharton School of Economics in Philadelphia. That's the best school if you're going to be a financier. And he was employed as an investment banker with Allen and Company. Ang galing-galing nitong investment banker nito. What is investment banking? Doing merger and acquisition, lending money to companies. Okay? Yan ang ginagawa niya. Magandang apartment sa New York, you know, New York, good salary. And I met the chairman or the partner in Allen and Company. Mar Rojas was very good as an investment banker, one of the employees. But he left that life. He came back to the Philippines because bayan muna bago sarili. He had to fill up his brother's term and he was elected with no problem and became a congressman. When Estrada became president, he was asked to be DTI, Trade and Industry, in 2001. And you can look at the internet or YouTube. Estrada himself, Erap said, the best cabinet secretary he had was Mar Rojas. Okay? Si Erap nang nagsabi niya. Arroyo appointed him as, again, Department of Trade and Industry. And while he was there, you will see later, he started the BPO, Business Processing Office. Ano yun? Call center. Okay? That's the call center. Isa yun. Senator in 2004, he had the highest votes. Okay? And then with President Aquino, una-muna trade and industry, telecommunication, transportation and communication. And then when Jesse Robredo died, he was local government. Ano yan? 22 years na nasa gobyerno. Alam mo kung nasa gobyerno ka, ang dali magnakaw. Ang dali-dali. It's so easy to buy money, but have you heard anything na alingaw-ngaw? Humingi ng cash sunduan? Humingi ng commission? None. You have not heard. In 22 years of service, because it's not in his DNA. Kailangan nasa DNA mo na yun. Okay? Or maybe it's nothing, but power corrupts. So you have to have a strong sense of character. Wala. No hint of corruption. Noynoy says ituloy ang daan ng tawid. Okay? So that is Mar Rojas. There are many other things that he has done. So I would recommend that you go to the website, marrojas.com. So now, why Lenny? Lenny Robredo. Lenny Robredo, the widow of Jesse Robredo. Okay, and asking, mga born again, asking that prayer. Okay, so why Lenny? Who is Lenny Robredo? I want you to listen, well, this is one, but on the internet, she has 10 episodes of saying who she is. Okay, unang-una, she is from Sorsogon, Gerona. But she grew up in Naga, Santa Isabel. For college, she went to UP and was supposed to go to become a lawyer because her father was a lawyer. But sabi niya, teka muna, I'm going to work first. And I heard about this very dynamic head of the Bicol Water Basin Development Corporation. And who was that? Jesse Robredo. Jesse Robredo was very dynamic. And when they saw each other, love at first sight. They were married in a year. So, hindi na siya nakakontinue ng law. But, so, she was wife. Right after their marriage, he ran for mayor under the Villafuerte. But the Villafuerte, because you run under me, you have to follow me. And Jesse said, no, I am elected by the people. I do not have to follow corruption. Okay, so Jesse started, yan, daang matuwid. Accountability, transparency, integrity. From 40 million revenue of Naga, umakyat, 400 million. Within the 9 years that he was a mayor, akyat ang Naga. Why? How did he do it? Very, ang tawag dito? People-oriented. Hindi yun, ako mag-iisip, follow kayo lahat. No. He was always asking, what do the people need? Okay. And nakalabas when I visited him, nasa labas, you want a driver's license? 30 minutes. You want marriage license? What, kung gano'ng katagal, 1 week, 30 minutes, 1 day, overnight, para hindi sasabihin, kasunduan, bago you say na. So, nalinis niya ang Naga. Wife, mother, 3 children, 3 daughters. So, over and beyond na campaign manager siya ni Jess Robredo, and she was also studying to become a lawyer. Okay? Night school, kasi she was married already, she had children. Night school. She didn't finish it in 4 years. It took her 7 years. Nag-aaral. But sabi ko, wow, grabe ito. I mean, akala ko magaling na ako. Ang hot niya, wife, mother, student, and then lawyer. It took her 7 years. And after that, she was to take the bar. She took the bar, she failed. Why? Kasi nung nag-aaral siya sa Manila, nagka-dengue yung kanyang anak, so he has to go back. So divided attention. So did she say, ay naku yun, wag na lang. She was so despondent. No, I'll take it again. And she passed. So that is the kind of woman she is. And as soon as she passed the bar, pumunta pa siya sa San Miguel, ang laki-laki ng sweldo. Sa Del Monte or any of the big multinational companies, no. Because her husband is always caring for the poor, ganun din siya. Saligan, helping farmers, fishermen, yung mga pobre. And of course, women's rights advocate. Okay? So that is Lenny. Ngayon, anong nangyari? When her husband died, of course, she was devastated. But I have to give it to Lenny. When my husband died, I was catatonic. I could not see, I could not think for a year. But Lenny said, I have to be strong. Because my daughters, I have to be strong. I will be mother and father to my children. And then, during the election year, President Noynoy said, and the Liberal Party said, you have to run against the Villaferte. Okay? So, usap din niya yung mga anak niya. I'm not a politician. She never ran. But, sabi nila, sila tatlo, if Jesse, if your father were alive, what would you do? Serve the nation, serve the country, serve your district. And so, she won as Congresswoman against the Villafuerte, the wife of the mother of the Governor El Rey, the wife of the Congressman Luis. Okay, she won 78%. Okay, ang galing-galing. Next. And 3 years pa lamang, these are the bills that she has filed. All of this. The last is the Philippine National Railway. Being in Bicol, we used to have the railroad, nawala. So, this is one of her project that we will have again, railroad all the way to Sorsogon as legislator. Okay.
From
Next.
where?
From Manila. Ngayon, hanggang Tutuban na lang. Manila, the railroad, goes all the way to China. Okay. She goes every Friday back to Naga. Meron bang nakita dyan? Susunod? Tingnan natin.
Wala kasi yung program.
Sige, hindi na ba? Okay, but, ay naku, nawala. Okay, well anyway, hindi nakikita dito. There was a picture of her standing alone, waiting for a bus. Okay? Sa EDSA. She has no SUV. Wala naman lang ni Toyota. O kaya yung, Jeep. None. She's waiting for the bus because she's living within her budget as a congressman. So, she leaves at 10 o'clock, dating siya ng 6, tulog ng konti. By 8 o'clock, eto na siya sa bawat barangay. what is she doing? She's telling them what she's doing for them, and she's listening to what her barangay is telling her. Para alam niya, sino sa lahat ng mga vice-presidente ang gumagawa nun. Bongbong is one. Chis Escudero from Sorsogon. I will not say anything. Trillanes and and Lenny. Gringo. Tatlo yan. Apat yan galing sa Bicol. And so we, Bicolanos, we have Bicol Lenny. Okay, we will see to it that she wins in Bicol. Merong litrato siya na bumababa papunta sa SONA. SONA is State of the Union Address. The President is coming to Congress. And believe me, because I attended one, lahat in the finest saya. You know, kasala na rin ako doon. Pinakamaganda kong saya. Why? Because ABS-CBN, GMA7, you know, nasa litrato, ganyan. Lahat. But where did Lenny go in the past 3 years? Sa likod. She doesn't need it. She knows who she is. So ayaw niya yung nakakalandra tunan. She's in in Saya, but sa likod siya tumadaan. That just shows, you know, the purity of her heart. Okay. So that is Lenny Robredo, Vice President. And believe me, it took her a long time. Because, you know, why? The Vice President not ask us. But, again, talking to her 3 daughters. Alam mo, yung youngest daughter ang talagang ayaw. Why? Because when my husband died, my youngest daughter also thinks, baka mamatay si mami. Okay, so she's always worried when I am traveling. So I can understand the heart of her youngest daughter. But usap siya, that is the kind of mother she is. Usap. And again the question, what would your father say? Well, mom, serve people. So they agreed, and that's why she became Vice President within the month. Vice President is like an understudy. Okay, right at the next please.
Did she know Mar previously?
Well, Mar and Jess are very close during the election.
Oh, with the husband?
Yes, the husband, Jesse Robredo and Mar were very close. They were always together. In fact, sabi ni, you know, parang question, ang mistress ni Jesse si Mar. Because he was always there. They were always together. They were very, very close. Okay. So it was not unusual. It was not that there was immediate chemistry, rapport. Okay? Ang panata, sayang. This is Tagalog. Every single child says this. And it's beautiful words. And if you hear it, the oath, panata, yes. Everyone says it at the beginning of in public school. Okay? Basically, what we say here, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States. Ito ang ganda-ganda, haba-haba. Okay? And that panata, if you listen to it, is being fulfilled by Mar Rojas and Lenny Robredo. Okay? Next. So, this is my theory. We had 21 years of corruption under Marcos, where it became our DNA. We need 18 years of good governance. Okay? Of good governance so that yung culture of corruption maalis, and then everyone in government will have straight mind, hindi na baku-baku. And that's why I am so shocked that someone who was killed, who has 2 wives, who has 2 mistresses, is acceptable to some of our people. Where is our sense of ethics? Asa na tayo? Why? Because yun nga, para bang corruption is something that we accept. Okay? So it's time to have 18 years of good governance. 6 years kay Nonoy, 6 years kay Mar, 6 years kay Mary, and then the Philippines will really be head nation, hindi na tayo paid nation. Okay, yes. Okay, and then, okay, so how do we do it? Tell your family and friends about learning. Okay, sasabihin niyo, hindi naman ako bumoto dito eh. We are not, if you're not, it's okay. But all of you, each one of you have 10 people in the Philippines. Not 20, if not 30, if not 40. Why? Pag sinabi, pag hindi kayo bumoto kay Marlene, wala kayong sweldo. Wala kayong pamasko. Wala kayong balikbayan box. No. That is it. What I'm saying is that your influence is so important. They And why can we do that? Because we don't depend on any politician for our living. We did it ourselves. We are here. We have successful lives. Alright? So, social media, that's why. After this, we will have a picture taking. Send it on your Facebook para makita nila.
Oh, yes.
Ba, pinsan ko yan ah. Ba, tingnan ko yan. Okay? Na kay Ma'am Lenny. And then call on the telephone. Call on the telephone. The telephone means, ano ito? Magic Jack, or Viber, or Messenger, you know, or meron pang isa, Viber, ano ba yun?
Twitter.
Yes. Twitter, you know, all of that. Do that.
I said it already.
You did, thank you. Because we have that responsibility. We live a good life here. We can eat 3-4 meals a day. Okay? We have several pairs of shoes, you know, several coats. We live a good life. But if the Philippines go back to corruption, patay na naman. We are going to have, you know, back to poverty. It will not only be 30 million, it will be 40 million because we are exploding. Okay? So that's why I'm doing this. I have done this in Chicago, in Los Angeles, in Paris, in Vienna. I'm doing it from here, and go to Las Vegas, and go to the Middle East, because it is so important that we do something for this election. Because when we are able to put back good governance for 18 years, then we can stand tall. Then we will fulfill what the Bible has said, New Testament. We are a noble race. We are. The Filipino is a noble race. We are a holy nation. We are a holy nation because of all the countries in the world, in Asia, we are, you know, the Christianity came to us, not to Vietnam, not to Indonesia, but to us. We are a royal priesthood, and we are God's own people. Okay? That is in the Bible, and that is us, the Philippines. So we'll truly say, Bayang Magilaw, pearl ng sikangalan. We will be truly the pearl of the Orient. Pearl of the Orient. Pearl of Asia. And then we can say and stand tall. And we can say loudly, I am Filipino and I am proud. Thank you. So I would like you to take, you know, just think about it. You wrote your attendance sheet. I mean, okay? For those of you who do not want to be part of an e-list, let me know. But otherwise, I will include all of you in the e-list. What is that? That is Global Filipino, where you can have conversation or kung ano mo nangyayari. Meron na ngayong bagong ad, because sabi ko naman, ang mga ad naman Mar, walang visa. So finally, there is somebody saying that her mother got sick. Naku, uutang na naman ako. But then, because of the Amatawid, merong PhilHealth, hindi na siya dapat magutang. You know, a very ordinary woman, and then the last part is Marojas po. Okay, very effective. So, umpisa na yan. Finally, showing what the Amatawid has done. Okay, so, please write your attendance sheet and then your email. Just tell me, sabi mo ayaw wala akong email. No. But, you know Elizabeth Ramsey? The daughter is here. Miss Ramsey. Elizabeth Ramsey has so much joy. So, thank you for coming.
Now we have shared with you a lot, everything that's on the table regarding the election in the Philippines and why do we have to vote for Marojas and Leni Robredo. So, we'll bring you more later. Tune in to Islanders TV Channel 28, Monday, every 6:30 to 7:30. And thank you. Good night.